Well, this is one of those videos that's going to make some angry, some frustrated, and yet others will love the transparency and the honesty. And since I cannot make everyone happy, I stick with one mantra, and that is just giving an honest opinion and not worrying about making people happy because it cannot please everyone. It's just kind of one of those impossible things in life. So I apologize in advance for the rant style video, but sometimes it just gets so ridiculous out there that I gotta address these things and we gotta talk about it here. Yes, I would absolutely love for you to like the video. It does help my channel along with subscribing too. Both of those are actually critical to a video's success, so if you want to support this channel or any channel that you love, make sure you do that on every one of their videos. But I'm not telling you to buy this penny stock or some random crypto or sell this to buy that, or I'm all out just to be all in a few days later and kind of rinse and repeat just to get those likes and subscribers so I can make more money. So be prepared to either love this video or hate this video. I don't know which one it's going to be, but let's get started. So how did we go from to the moon last week to the market is crashing and going into the pit of oblivion just a few days later? Well, let's look at facts about stocks, not headlines or any of the other garbage that's going on out there. Meta made a new low, busting through the previous 52-week low just to make another new low the very next day. But a stock like NIO was positive on that first day and is sitting 100% above its 52-week low. Now think about that, guys, for just a second. It's a Chinese stock that has struggled with supply chain issues. The Chinese economy is absolutely worse than the US, and yet it's up 100% from its lows and green on a massive red day and has completely outperformed Meta in every way. Okay, you don't like Meta? Well, NIO has absolutely crushed Google too for months now. Google is actually almost back down to its 52-week low, and even if you don't like Meta, there is no doubt Google is a far superior company than NIO, but yet here we are with NIO totally crushing it in terms of performance. And let's get even crazier here, guys. Desktop Metals has tripled off its lows even after this latest sell-off, and it needs to fall almost 70% or something like that to hit its June lows. And Tesla needs to fall 30% to hit those June lows, just so that way you don't think I'm just cherry picking small caps there. There you go, there's Tesla, almost $1 trillion company, needs to fall 30% to hit its June lows. And honestly, I bought Palantir cheaper last week than I could have gotten it for Tuesday or Wednesday after this whole epic drop. So basically, here's the truth on what happened. Wall Street got overextended on the rally from the June lows, then tried to correct like normal, and then inexplicably ran back up again based on unicorns and balloons, I guess, honestly, don't know, just to fall back down epically when inflation actually came down, but just didn't meet Wall Street's expectations. That's not an indication of a new trend or a catalyst taking the market back down into oblivion or anything else like that, or that we entered a new crash or really any real crash whatsoever. It looks much more like traders playing trading games, which of course smells like opportunity to me as a long-term buy and hold investor.
But Luke, what about the Great Depression Part 2 that is coming and that you said in your title and your thumbnail?
Well, I will tell you this right now. If you clicked on this video and want to call me out for clickbaiting you for saying that depression talk is actually quite laughable and one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life, then I honestly think you may have a perspective problem and you want to be lied to. That's the only thing I can think of. Because if I say Great Depression and then lay out all these pretty charts and graphs explaining how it's coming or it could happen soon or whatever, I think then I would be clickbaiting you because I'm giving an utterly ridiculous take and backing it up with useless, out of context, or just flat out lies to create an emotion out of you, which is honestly good for my channel and would be good for my income if I decided to do that. So to me, even if you aren't lying, but you are actively trying to find a way to make an extreme case so you can create a title that everyone will click on, is the worst form of clickbaiting. But I mean, honestly, what the heck do I know? I clearly suck at YouTube given the amount of money I make, but that's how I view it. So since I'm not going to do that, let's just look at a few facts around the Great Depression. And keep in mind, I am just speaking from a US perspective here. I cannot speak to other countries, and then we will talk about what scenarios you should actually consider selling to in just a second. So I keep hearing about a food shortage here in the US, and outside of not being able to get great Powerade Zero, I have not seen anything remotely resembling an actual food shortage. And no, I don't care what your Facebook feed shows you or what the media feeds you either. I have yet to see with my own eyes any grocery store in any part of the United States completely empty. Now, sure, I've seen empty shelves, absolutely, but if I needed to eat food and was starving, there was plenty to choose from, which wouldn't happen with an actual food shortage. Just because my store is occasionally out of the 15-grain bread brand that I like to buy, so instead I have to pick one from one of the 75 other types of bread they have, is not a food shortage. And yes, there's literally like 75 different loaves of bread you can choose from at the bread store. It's freaking ridiculous, guys. It's out of control. I go out to eat multiple times a week and still routinely see people throwing away lots of food like they always have. And the fact that I can go out and eat anytime I want absolutely contradicts what would happen if there truly was a food shortage coming. The US is still throwing away enough food to feed an entire country, and I haven't seen obesity go down either for that matter here in the US. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I need to lose a few pounds too because, winter's coming, right? But since we are heading towards that Great Depression and massive food shortage soon, the US government and state and local governments are preparing to ration bread and other food, right? I mean, screw going out to eat or even grocery shopping. They are preparing for bread lines again, just like the Great Depression, right? The answer is a resounding no. Not being able to consistently get my great Powerade is not a sign that a depression is coming or that a food shortage like the Great Depression is coming either.
But look, the labor market is teetering, and if it gets headed lower, it's going to get down to those Great Depression numbers fast, right?
Well, we saw unemployment peak at 25% during the Great Depression. There were no jobs available for a quarter of all working Americans. And the last time I looked, the Fed is actively trying to increase unemployment because the labor market is ridiculously good and hurting their inflation fight, so I fully expect to see unemployment rise over the next couple of months. So we actually have the opposite problem. There are far more jobs than workers, so the labor market is the furthest it can be from a depression. And also keep in mind, there are many laws, legislation, and regulation passed after the Great Depression to prevent the US from ever getting close to a depression again, much less being in the middle of one. So to be clear and to recap this all with even more facts, in a true Great Depression style crash in stocks, a stock like NEO, who I like by the way, but a stock like NEO does not outperform incredible companies trading stupid cheap like Google. And honestly, NEO has outperformed Tesla since June, who is by far and away the best in the EV space. That doesn't happen in a Great Depression style crash. So more facts. People are not traveling around in boxcars on trains looking for jobs because American workers cannot find a job in their own town. That is what happened during the Great Depression, but I can't walk 2 blocks down the street without seeing a help wanted sign. I have yet to see any bread lines either due to this food shortage that is coming, and the only lines I see are for people willing to actually pay $6 freaking for a coffee or $5 for a dumb cookie. I see those lines with my own eyes daily. Not a Facebook post or a news story, but with my own eyes in every single city that I visit and travel to. But I have not seen a single line to feed your family freaking bread because you have no other way of getting food because of a shortage. So no, nothing about any of this looks anything like the Great Recession, much less the Great Depression. But, let's not let facts get in the way of a good fear narrative that gets clicks and likes and all that other crap. But the question is still valid. Should you consider selling or taking profits or maybe just taking some off the top? That might be a good idea if you're swing trading, day trading, or if it was part of your plan to sell a stock at the price it's at today or a better price than that. So for example, Apple fell more than the market cap of almost all the companies listed on the stock exchange. So should I take profits because it's clearly going down? Honestly, not in my eyes. But the question I need to answer is, did something fundamentally change at Apple? Did demand go to the floor? Did the government shut down all the Apple stores and said they cannot sell to US customers anymore? Is there a fraud investigation going on where they've been cooking the books all along and they don't generate that revenue at all? It's all just like a big giant lie and it's actually just a giant house of cards? Well, honestly, none of that is true. So my plan says to actually add when it hits my price target. So to me, I want it to fall more down to a reasonable valuation so I can then add to a great stock. And if you don't have a plan for every stock you own, create one now, or you're going to be at the mercy of whatever your favorite YouTuber says to do, or the media, or even worse, or almost the worst thing, your emotions are going to dictate what you do. Bottom line, there is no point on clicking on anything from either the news media, whichever one you prefer, or any YouTuber that has anything to do with the Great Depression whatsoever. That is not the case of what's going on at all. So hopefully this rant was helpful and it helped a lot of you guys out there, and I apologize in advance. We'll go back to normal talking stocks in the next video. And don't forget, if you want to see when I buy all these stocks and any other stock on my watch list in real time and see the watch list, make sure you take advantage of the massive sale I have going on for the Market Insiders private group, as there is no group that offers more for the price than we do. No bundling, no pushy salespeople trying to get you to sign up, and you can cancel anytime you want, and it's far cheaper for what you get than any other group out there. The price will go up shortly as the sale cannot last forever, but your pricing does actually last forever as long as you remain a member, so make sure you check out the pinned comment for all the details and lock in your spot today. And click this video here to see what else I'm buying in this market, and click here for exactly how I plan to make massive money in this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.